then they say, yeah, but the weather, altitude, and the hot summer weather in South Africa is affecting the European players badly. Rightly so, but then again, the South African players, they have to go up north where they're not used to playing in cold, windy, and freezing weather. In this video, I would like to look into the form of the teams participating in the URC. I'd like to start off by looking at the last 5 games each team has played and how their form compares to the other teams, as well as the last 10 games, and then finally the overall table. So if you can see here at this form sheet here, so what you see in front of you is the form within the past 5 games of each team. Now it's quite clear after the win Ulster conjured up against Leinster, they are the form team at the moment. At this time, the last 5 games, they've won all their 5 games and they've accumulated 23 points. Then second, we've got the Stormers from South Africa. They only lost 1 game from the last 5 games they played, and they accumulated 20 points. Then we have the Bulls behind the Stormers, and then we have Leinster, the Sharks, and Glasgow Warriors. And in 7th place, we've got Munster. Now, in my opinion, this isn't my opinion, right? My personal opinion. I view the Irish teams as being the top dogs of this competition. When I talk about Irish teams, I'm referring to Ulster, to Leinster, and to Munster. So we all know what the SA teams done to Munster, especially the Bulls and the Lions when Munster was torn in South Africa. Even though I must say that Munster, they were without their Irish international players. But that's just the nature of the game, is that each team will go through a patch where they will play without the internationals. Likewise, the South African teams last year, when the SA teams or the Springbok players were busy participating in the Rugby Championship, the same case. So I think that people can't throw that within an argument, because all the sides will be influenced by this, not having the international players at some point in the season. So I think, in my opinion, this balances out everything. So the Irish teams, especially Ulster at this moment, viewing current form, Ulster and Leinster are the top Irish teams, or the top teams in the competition, as well as the Glasgow Warriors. From a South African point of view, I would say that Ulster, Leinster, and Glasgow Warriors are the actual teams that the South African sides must compare themselves to. Edinburgh they're fine, a decent team, but they got beat by the Sharks and they drew against the Stormers at home. And even that game, the Stormers should have won that game. So I would say Edinburgh, yeah. But I think on current form, I see that there's 2 South African sides in the top 4 based on current form within the last 5 games, being the Stormers and the Bulls. And we've got Ulster and Leinster being the other 2 teams from Ireland in the top 4. So let's look at the form based on the last 10 games that each team played. So from the last 10 games, we have Leinster being at the top. They themselves accumulated 36 points. They only had 1 loss, and that loss came against Ulster. Then we've got the Sharks. From the last 10 games, they accumulated 36 points. So they're on par with Leinster. Ulster accumulated 34 points. The Stormers, 33 points. Glasgow Warriors, 32 points. The Bulls, 32 points. Edinburgh, 30 points. Munster, top 8, 27 points. Then obviously at the bottom, the teams that's at the bottom, they are the teams that's at the bottom currently on the full league table, being Zebre, Dragons, Benetton, Lions, Scarlets, and so forth. So here we see once again Leinster being on top. Being in the top 4, we've got 2 Irish teams and 2 South African teams. And I think this is gonna be the way in the future, guys. We're gonna have Ireland's top 2 South Africa stop to dominating the top four places in this competition. I am telling you now already. Then you'll have Glasgow Warriors coming in, maybe mixing up things. You'll have maybe a third South African franchise coming in as well, mixing up things. But going forward, I predict that the top four will be dominated by 2 Irish teams and 2 South African teams. That is my opinion, my view. And the top 8, you might end up seeing 4 South African teams in the top 8 in the near future. At the moment, there will be probably, as current form stands, will be 3, and the 3 Irish teams, and the other 2 will probably be the 2 Scottish teams, being Glasgow Warriors and Edinburgh. Then finally, let's look at the last 15 games. Now, at this time, the majority of the teams played 13 games or 12 games, and this is the log proper. The log we have currently is this log here, where we have Leinster on the top, Ulster, Glasgow Warriors, Munster, Edinburgh Sharks, Stormers, Bulls in the top 8. I think this is a very interesting situation here, where we have these teams. But I think that on current form, the South African teams are coming together nicely, even though the European fans are saying yes, the Irish, the Welsh, and the Scottish teams, they were out without internationals, blah 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 blah. But like I said earlier, there will come a time where we also have the Springbok players or the top players from the South African franchises not being in the teams, and then it is what it is. Then they say, but the weather, altitude, and the hot summer weather in South Africa, it's affecting the European players badly. Rightly so, but then again, the South African players, they have to go up north where they're not used to playing in cold, windy, and freezing weather. So I would say it balances out. So I don't want to hear anybody talk about international players being missing, or altitude, or hot weather, cold weather. No, guys, please. These things, it balances out each other. So yeah. So guys, what do you guys say about the current form? I think that the South African franchises are a good addition to the Pro, or the old Pro 12, Pro 14, Pro 16. I would say URC, and it will just improve the competition. And I predict the URC to be the premier competition in world rugby in the next couple of years. I'm guaranteeing you this. Once we can lure back our Springboks that's currently playing overseas clubs, lure them back into the fold, then I think that the URC will be the premier competition in the world. Then we will see the Stormers, Bulls, Sharks, the Lions as well, taking on the best from France, England, and then we'll see. Let's see. But guys, please comment. I want to hear from you guys. And please do not forget to subscribe to my channel. And then I'll catch you guys on my next video.